Okay, we're looking at the Wilton Street Community Garden here, and I sort of stumbled across this place a couple of months ago, and I thought it might be a good place to maybe pull a few weeds and get a few bits of parsley. And I'm slowly getting a little bit of an education about what this is all about, but just to show the potential of what can happen in a community garden. Look down here, and we've got these raised beds just absolutely loaded with parsley and organic celery. More parsley growing down over here. It's even bursting forth onto the path. This soil looks absolutely an awesome colour here.
And it's full of worms too.
Is it?
Yes.
It's all just a product of the compost, really, eh?
It is totally because of the compost.
And you seem to have a unique way of planting these little, was it carrots you got there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Decent sort of hole.
An index finger down.
Yeah.
And then you put the root in.
Right.
Into the cool, deep earth.
Right.
And then you tuck it in like bed.
Yeah.
Right, so that the root keeps the plant upright.
Right.
So that the leaves don't get dampness from the soil on them. You want the plant to stand up like a candle.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's why you tuck it in.
Oh, okay. Great. How much parsley can you get in one garden bed? And this is a little aloe vera plant that's going to need a bit more love actually, but I put it in there a few weeks ago, and I need to get some sand and gravel, and then that should make the difference in kind of getting the green back into those leaves and getting the plant really roaring up. And after that it's a fantastic sort of salve for skin and sore muscles and thrush in various places, and also awesome for colds, making up little dropper bottles with drops that go into the ears and nose for colds. It's aloe vera barbadensis, that one, but it's in fairly kind of wet season, and it needs some slightly more sandy soil. And for many of the other plants around here, we're going to have to talk to some of the more educated people here. So maybe we'll start with, I'll pick on Adele first. What can you tell me about what's growing around here, Adele?
Okay, we've got some calendula here for companion planting. We've got, I think they're probably self-sown forget-me-nots, broad beans.
Those are the broad beans there, okay. I'll refer myself back to this video every now and again. Silver beet growing over there, 3 different colours of silver beet.
Yes.
What about this stuff growing down here, this kind of weedy looking stuff? That's a vegetable too.
Minus lettuce.
What's it?
Minus lettuce.
Minus lettuce, okay.
And the miner's lettuce is named such because the early miners in New Zealand, they didn't have much food, and that lettuce grew prolifically, so they started to, it would grow very easily, and it was an immediate green for them in the mining fields.
Oh, okay. Has it got any special minerals or vitamins in it compared to other lettuces?
Lots of iron in that.
Is there?
I think, yeah.
Okay, great. We've got quite an abundance of food over here. Looking over there, we've got heaps of silver beet, haven't we?
Lots of silver beet.
Yeah.
And if you turn around here, look at that broad bean coming on.
Oh yeah, firing away. I wouldn't have even known what these look like,
That's
if you guys weren't telling me.
And then we've got snow peas here.
Right.
That's the flower of the pea.
Right.
And I can't see any peas actually here at this moment. And we've used bits of roses to stake it, and the roses have actually started to sprout.
Wow, life
So
bursting forth everywhere, eh?
Life can't help itself, actually.
What's this one down here?
That's a Caballo Nero,
Okay.
and it's a kale, and that is also full of a lot of iron.
Glad it's got a complicated name. I was hoping it wasn't going to be something obvious that I should know.
Yeah,
Bit
no,
of-
it's an Italian kale,
Okay.
and it's very nutty and delicious.
Right.
And
yet-
actually, these are all there. It's an autumn and a winter plant, and so these should come out now at springtime.
Right.
And we'll plant some other things. So we'll harvest some of these. We'll harvest these guys today.
Okay.
So all those leaves can be steamed up,
Right.
put into a lasagna or whopped with garlic.
Right.
They'll be very delicious.
Okay. And how does anybody else that wants to get involved in this Wilton Street Grey Lynn Community Garden get involved?
Well, the truth is that it's a very
This
small...
is Sarah speaking, by the way.
This is Sarah speaking. It's a very small community garden,
Yeah.
and I think the maximum people is about 7 for this garden because it's a
Yep.
very small area.
Yep.
And although we're gardening it quite intensely, for there to be enough food, we can't have more people. But the benefit is for the community is the composting system.
Okay.
So local people are using the compost bins, and we're recycling that earth back into the earth here and taking buckets home.
So anybody can come and drop some compost off here as long as they follow the general instructions?
As long as they don't bring any meat and follow all the instructions, that's right.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Anything else growing around here that people might be interested
We've
in?
got cabbages underneath. They're also an autumn
Yeah.
plant, spring plant. They're underneath the
Fig tree?
fig tree. And
Yeah.
so while the fig isn't in leaf, but it's coming along, they're getting a lot of sunshine there. So we're hoping they'll grow up fast enough before the leaf comes on the fig.
Okay.
And on the other side there are more broad beans and leeks.
Right.
And
We've got more parsley bursting forth on this side of that garden.
And
It's
there's
growing
also a lot
everywhere,
of
isn't it?
borage, which is self-seeded.
Yeah.
And the borage is wonderful for the bees, and we need the bees to be fertilising all the flowers. So we don't have any broad beans without the bees,
Oh, okay.
or
Great.
anything else for that matter.
All right.
And that's why the calendula, and that's why we have lavender and rosemary over there.
Oh, okay, to bring the bees
To bring
in,
the
eh?
bees,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
The
a
bees
pr-
love the lavender and the rosemary flowers. Because
Okay.
they pretty much flower all year round.
Right,
Well, the
okay.
lavender does.
Right.
Rosemary's in season.
And that borage, apparently, it's got got a bit of an oyster taste to it. It's a bit of an antidepressant, I hear. You can sort of chew a few heads of it and it gives you some mineral boost.
Oh, I didn't know that. Good.
On to that today.
Yeah. Okay. What about this one over here? It's got such a lovely smell to it. I've forgotten what it's called.
Ah, that's, let's have a look. I've planted both, yeah, that's a citronella.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a citronella geranium. And
Oh, I can smell it. Oh, dang, I put it in my pocket.
Yep, and
Awesome.
you can rub those leaves on your body and you can, it'll keep insects, mostly mosquitoes, away.
Right,
You know,
right.
they make candles out of citronella.
That's right, yeah,
to,
yeah.
So that's a citronella. There's also a rose geranium that I planted here,
That's
which has a very beautiful fragrance. No, that's still citronella. There is a rose planted somewhere around here, and that's wonderful. You can use the leaves in rice pudding and things, and it just gives a hint of rose.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
Rose geranium.
Rose geranium, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, that citronella, I could just smell that all day. It's just awesome.
Yes, it's a very,
Yeah.
it's very, it's good. It's sort of sterilising too.
Right. What about the fennel? You see there's a bit of this
that's-
growing around the
that's
place.
sweet fennel, and that's self-seeded,
Yep.
and that's delicious in salads. It's very good for digestion.
Right.
Yep, it's a sweet, and this is last year's sweet fennel,
Yep. Oh, okay.
which actually we could probably, you can see the young growth of the new.
Right, right. It certainly grows to height when it's firing, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
We could probably break that up.
But we've almost got almost like a little bit of an excess of silver beet here. Seems to be.
Well, no, we just need to chop that and give it away, and also the watercress is fantastic in
Oh, yeah.
salads. Very
Okay.
high in iron.
All right.
Yep.
And what have we got over here? Some new gardens coming up.
New gardens
Garden
here.
beds.
We've got some artichokes here. We've got a feijoa tree here that's coming into new bud, new flower,
Yep.
and 2 new beds, which were just planted last weekend.
All right. What's in that far one there? What have you got in there,
Far
mainly?
one, we've got broad beans, we've got leeks, we've got a lot of parsley, we've got some rosemary, we've got 2 passion fruit vines, we've got 2 lemon trees, we've got a tamarillo tree, we've got a lily. We're going to have to try and train that passion fruit because it just wants to go straight up into that acmena tree.
Right.
Because it loves to go straight up to the height.
Right. Oh, well, it's like an inspiring little place where people can come down and have a bit of a chat and...
Well, we love people to be proactive.
Yep. Okay.
That's the seed head of the fennel, and if you take that seed
yep.
and put it in your mouth, you'll get the most delicious taste of aniseed.
Okay.
It's very dried now, but it's still pumping.
Oh, and it's still strong. It's lovely, lovely. Love that sweet sort of hidden sweet
so
taste.
One of those seeds is another plant.
Awesome. Great. And what about you, Ruben? You've been coming down here for quite a few months, haven't you? You want to say anything? What do you like about community gardening? What brings you back each Sunday?
Doing the compost with Peter.
Yeah, good fun.
The satisfaction of seeing my own, I suppose, vegetable matter go all the way through over about the course of 2 months.
Right.
Until it's soil.
So do you want to just quickly explain the process of how it all starts? People come down here and dump a bit off in which bin?
The bin that Peter's working with now.
Bin there that Peter's in? Yeah.
So Peter's working in some lime
yeah.
into the compost and some leaves to try to dry it out and reduce the acidity because we've got a lot of coffee and citrus.
Right.
From the cafes around here.
Right. And then after it's been there for about, what, a month, it gets turned into another bin or something?
Yeah, depending on the weather and depending on the time of year.
Yep.
If it's hot and dry, it usually takes 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks.
If it's cold and rainy like now, it's
yeah.
longer.
So if it's hot and dry, then where does it go after 2 or 3 weeks? This is Peter here, by the way.
What we do is we move it into the next bin, but
yep.
this bin number 1 will be where the compost comes out when it's ready
to go.
To go in terms of it's ideally friable and really breaks down to the point where it's just really good soil.
Right, sort of black looking, sort of
yeah. So
half dry almost.
So generally you're not seeing what its constituent elements.
Right.
It's much more like soil, so you're not seeing so much eggshell. The strands are much smaller, a certain length, that kind of thing.
Okay. And what's this middle bin? What's this middle bin all about then?
Well, then once we take the compost that's ready out and put it on the garden,
yep.
that moves down.
Oh yeah.
And we move this
From
one
2
down
to 1.
and we start this one again.
Okay. Oh, that's clear enough then.
That's the cycle.
All right. Great stuff. Thanks, Pete. Anything else you'd like to say about why you're down here?
No, not really.
Okay. Just love that compost, eh?
It's the alchemical process of turning waste into something that's fertile and living.
It is pretty inspiring looking at the end product sometimes, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's great.
Cool. Thanks, Peter. Sure.